Woo-wee. It has gotten cold on the East Coast. I'm not going to lie to you. This feels like a serious November right now. Wow. It's going to be interesting when we have the tailgate in January. I'm curious how that weather's going to be. You know, we got the big snowstorm that's in Buffalo that's literally shut that mother humper down, where the Buffalo Bills are playing in Detroit for this week and next week so they can get past that snowstorm. Good evening, good people. I just got finished doing my live stream and something strange kind of happened. Somebody I haven't seen in the chat before, Mr. Mom, came in and he said that after the Packer game, he shot his PlayStation and then had another comment that said that the weed guy had died. I'm assuming that he's talking about I Love Weed, and we did not see I Love Weed on the chat. If anybody knows I Love Weed, I've sent him an email to make sure he's okay. If anybody knows him, I know I saw him in the chats yesterday. By all means, check on him because I want to make sure that he's okay. And I pray that he's okay. We're like a family here where, you know, I get used to seeing, you know, the Lolas, the Angelica Barones, and the Roland's Reviews, and the Alan Williams, and the David Wileys and stuff that I don't want to lose any of my good friends and stuff. So if anybody knows him, by all means, let me know that he's okay or not. This weekend against the Minnesota Vikings, this is a big game. Make no mistake about it, because we don't want to go on a 2-game losing streak. Now, I'm not going to say that if we lose this game that the season's over, but it gets to be more difficult. You know, we've got a lot of games that you should be able to win down the roads there. Shout out to you, Eastside Herald. Why don't you do your job there, buddy? Do your job. Beat the Commanders this weekend. Can you get a win? Can you get a win, Eastside? But in some regard, I started thinking tonight that this game, one, gives a chance to get one of the top seeds knocked down to earth, which means that Eagle fans are rooting for us this weekend. Let's be clear here. Eagle fans are worried that they're going to lose some games. And they would love to have a cushion of the Cowboys beating Minnesota, because then that means with them owning the tiebreaker with them, that gives them a little bit of an easier shot at getting home field advantage and that bye week. Now, us as Cowboy fans, we don't do good with bye weeks. We're probably better off that we don't have one. But be that as it may. But I think the Cowboys, over the course of this weekend and Thursday, are playing for something else that people probably haven't thought about. Think about this for a second. Odell, who allegedly by his high school coach believes that the New York Giants are the favorite. Now, he might be biased because he's a Giant fan. Excuse me for yawning. Believes that Odell is leaning towards the Giants. Now, a couple things that have kind of added to the mix. We've heard Kansas City and we've heard Buffalo were also in the mix too. But Buffalo has kind of gone on a 2-game lose streak. And, you know, currently there's like 6 feet of snow on the ground. So when you say you don't want to play in cold weather, it doesn't get much worse than Buffalo. Green Bay gets cold too, but Buffalo always has the lake effect snow, because it's literally, you've got all that moisture there at the Great Lakes, and it picks it on up and it dumps it right there in Buffalo. Okay? It just does. So that's one of those things that you don't get much colder than Buffalo. Okay? So I don't know if that's hurt Buffalo's chances. Right now, you have the Giants, who are in second place in our division and have been winning games surprisingly. And if you go to New York, you will definitely be the number one top dog wide receiver there, because as Rashid says, what Why did we draft a wide receiver? Because you don't really have the quarterback that's really getting it there. And they have been more of a running team. Interesting thing, though. You want to hear something kind of funny? I don't know if Kellen Moore has gotten this memo or not. Our running game is averaging 4.7 yards a carry. That's pretty good. We think of the New York Giants as a great running team, right? Check this out. They're only averaging 1/10 of a yard more than we are with Barkley. Yeah. And the Eagles, they're only averaging 4.3 yards a carry. 0.4 of a yard less. So Kellen Moore, the Giants are winning. Not by passing the football. Not by passing the football. They're winning by running the football. FYI. Back to Odell. Odell, hearing that the Giants are putting down, they're getting rid of the slit field turf, that they're going to be changing their field next year, ended up sending, heart emojis on that he loves that. And here's the thing that might be interesting, because you've got New York playing the Lions. You've got the Eagles playing the Colts. Okay. Now a couple things. And you've got the Commanders playing the Texans. If there should be any gimme game, that should be the Commanders playing the Texans. Sorry, Eastside, your team stinks. They're close, but they stink. Okay. Washington should have an easy time. Then you've got the Lions, who, mind you, have gotten to be on a little bit of a hot streak. They ended up beating the Bears last week, and they, of course, ended up winning the week before. They're on a 2-game win streak. They're going to New York. Might not be a gimme. They have been able to score some points with Jared Goff. I mean, they did score 35 against the Eagles. Okay. Yeah. And then you have the Eagles playing against the Colts. The Colts, who ended up getting rid of Carson Wentz. Maybe they want to get a little payback for that lemon that they sold them. And also with Jeff Saturday, they seem to be a different team. So the Eagles are a little bit nicked up. Dallas Goedert is now on injured reserve, joining Jordan Davis. They've signed Ndamukong Suh and Lavelle Joseph, 2 guys that haven't done anything for 8 months. There's no word if they're actually going to play or not, but their defense is definitely hurting. Fletcher Cox is sucking wind because he's old, with like Hargrave and some of those other guys on there, and they're getting winded. So that's no gimme there. We have the worst game, or the toughest game, going on the road to Minnesota. But I dare say, if the Cowboys lose, somehow the Cowboys lose this game and lose to the Giants, then I think for sure that Odell would sign with the Giants as opposed to the Cowboys. Because Odell, let's be clear about it, he's standing back and looking, and he wants to make sure he goes to a team that has the best chance of him getting to the Super Bowl. I can understand that. So you have to look at this weekend and Thursday being the Odell Beckham sweepstakes. If the Cowboys beat Minnesota and beat the Giants, I can almost guarantee you Odell Beckham Jr. would sign with the Cowboys. Because now you're talking about an 8-3 team that's still got a chance now to win the division and to make some noise in the playoffs. But then again, what do I know? I'm a guy with a day job and a voodoo doll. But last week, you can probably put a lot of the loss on me because I didn't call in to the Italian Gourmet to remind them I need the big sub. I need the big sub. And unfortunately, didn't get the big sub last week. Ended up doing 3 small ones put together. It didn't fool nobody. And that's the same thing that happened against the 49ers. I couldn't get the big sub, and we lost in the playoffs. So I'm getting the big sub tomorrow. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a Juicy Lucy sub, which is basically molten cheese inside a hamburger. And so I'm going to have to do several hamburgers, big hamburgers, with cheese inside of them and put them across there and make a big sub. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put bacon on it. We're going to put grilled onions and peppers. We're going to have the pepper jack and cheddar cheese inside of the burgers and lettuce and tomatoes and mayonnaise. It's going to be good. But I tell you, cooking outside in the cold, it's cooking outside in the cold. It's cold out here. All right, so with that being said, I am done for the evening. I am tired, and I can't seem to sleep well at night. I don't know what the heck is wrong with me. I just feel like my batteries are always drained, and I don't have the wind that I used to have. I almost wonder if I have, reading the symptoms, long COVID. That's one of those things that you feel like your batteries are drained. You have body aches, for months afterwards, and you have a hard time sleeping. And that's sums up everything that I have. I'm still getting a lot of stuff done, but not like I usually do. So everybody take care of yourself. And again, if anybody knows I love weed, by all means, please check on them for us and let us know. And remember to tell the people you love them, because you might not get the chance again. I love you guys, but tomorrow's not promised. I hope I'll be here. If not, I love you guys. Be safe out there.